So all adults need to get screened at least once in their lifetime for hepatitis B. That's the new recommendation from the CDC. To talk about it this morning is Dr. David Purse, Chief Medical Officer for the City of Houston. We're going to talk about this new recommendation and how the Houston Health Department can help. Doctor, good morning again. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being back with us. So let's talk about this. Hepatitis B, this does not apply to A or C, right? There are different kinds. Can you kind of help me straighten this out first?
Yeah, there are actually several different types of hepatitis, and it gets confusing. So don't feel embarrassed at all if you get confused. It can be really tough. And not only that, but over the years the names have changed a little bit. It has added to confusion. But we're talking about hepatitis B, which is a fairly common form of hepatitis. And in fact, that's part of the problem, is that it's more common than we previously thought. So there's epidemiological studies out now that suggest that perhaps 2/3 of the people who have chronic hepatitis B infection are unaware of it. And so the CDC just recently came out about 2 weeks ago with this new recommendation that all adults get tested at least once in their life to find out whether or not they have been infected with hepatitis B virus sometime in their life.
Interesting. So there's a portion of us that are carrying hepatitis B, but we don't know. Why would we be missing that? I guess there's no symptoms showing up, obviously.
Yeah, so there's two forms of hepatitis, if you will. When you are first infected, people tend to get a pretty nondescript viral illness symptom. They get fever, body aches, maybe some nausea, the usual sorts of viral illness symptoms that many different viruses can cause. And nearly everybody gets over that. And most people will get over it and be done with it. But a good percentage of folks will continue to have what's called chronic hepatitis. And they will have the virus, it'll be active in their body, but it won't be causing them any symptoms until it causes some really serious problems, because it's hepatitis, it attacks the liver. It can actually attack a variety of other organ systems. But one of the complications of chronic hepatitis is cirrhosis or liver cancer. And so a lot of people have this chronic hepatitis infection, they don't even know it. And in addition, not only do they not, are they not symptomatic, but because they don't know it, they can then inadvertently spread it to somebody else. And so again, a reason for people to get tested so that they will have a heads up on if they develop any complications, but also to minimize the chances they can spread it to somebody.
Doctor, let me ask you a question. Is the disease, or I guess virus, right? So it's a virus. Is the virus doing damage that whole time while the symptoms aren't showing themselves? In other words, first infection may happen here, years later it's cirrhosis or something like this of the liver. And throughout that entire period, this hepatitis has been damaging the body without even knowing it.
Yeah, the human body is amazing in its ability to tolerate insult from the hepatitis virus. So your liver will compensate over years and years and decades while the virus is slowly damaging it. And it isn't until a point where the liver just can't keep up anymore before you start developing symptoms. Now, this, again, is for people who aren't going to their doctor on a regular basis and getting regular blood tests done to see that that their liver enzymes are starting to elevate at a rate that they shouldn't, or who never got tested to find out if they've got the hepatitis B virus. So everyone should be going to the doctor on a regular basis. Everybody should get tested for hepatitis B at least once in their adult lifetime. And if you have it, if you've got chronic hepatitis, there's not a cure for it, but there are medications that will help reduce how badly and how quickly it damages your liver and other organs. So there's really benefit to knowing whether or not you have it.
And with most things, is it important to figure out that diagnosis early?
Absolutely. And another thing to keep in mind is that the younger you are when you become infected, the more likely someone is to have serious problems. So that other age group that we worry about, of course, is children. And children can get hepatitis through, the same ways that anybody else can. But in addition, babies can get it during childbirth. So if mom has hepatitis B and doesn't know it and she gives birth, the baby runs a chance of contracting it at birth. Now, babies who get it will run a really high percentage chance of having some serious complications down the road, and that's tragic and preventable. If mom already has it when she becomes pregnant, there are ways to minimize the chance of the spread. Unfortunately, hepatitis B is not curable, so if that pregnant mom has hepatitis B, her doctors have got their hands full trying to minimize the chance that it gets spread to the baby.
And I'd like to reiterate one other point before we go, Doctor. You were talking about blood tests it's sort of hinting to something with the liver. So those of us who get our blood work done regularly, our primary care doctor may see a hint at somewhere that something's not right.
Yes, and historically, that's probably been the way most of the chronic hepatitis patients have been detected by their doctors, noticing that their liver enzymes are going up. They can't figure out why, and then they get around to finally testing it for hepatitis B and go, oh my gosh, you've had chronic hepatitis B this whole time. Okay. Again, this is why the CDC has now recommended that all adults get tested as a part of a routine at least once in your lifetime, so that you and your doctor will probably figure it out sooner rather than waiting until you've got damage to your liver already that's now causing your blood test to change. You want to find out before then, so that hopefully your doctor will be able to minimize the rate at which that damage occurs, or hopefully, if you're lucky, prevent the damage at all. But again, unfortunately, there is not a cure for chronic hepatitis B, but there are medications that will help manage the consequences of that infection.
All right, people want to catch it as quickly as possible for their own well-being and for those around them. As you said, it can spread to others too. Dr. David Pearce, Houston Health Department, thanks so much for always being here with us on Mondays.
My pleasure.
Have a great week. And folks, you can go to click2houston.com/scene@7, and you can watch all the segments that we've had with Dr. David Pearce.